Hey, he's
You know where I got
really
that from,
good.
right?
Yeah.
Yeah. How
Oh,
are you doing?
I'm good. I'm good. So let's talk about the transition itself. Yeah, interesting, eh? Because it's a real thing, from being seniors. Um, I don't know
In
if that's the
primary school.
transition in primary school.
Yeah, you're a
Um,
senior, maybe you're a prefect, you're a head boy,
exactly.
and
I
then
have
all
my
of a
daughter. She
sudden.
was a prefect in primary school, and now
Mm-hmm,
they're juniors in high school, and they're
mm-hmm,
being treated like kids. And she found a really rough moment to transition to that.
mm-hmm,
So let's
mm-hmm.
get into it.
Yeah, so that's what we're talking about today. But I'm actually not speaking to parents who've got children who are already in high school and are in Form 1. But I want to focus on parents who've got kids who are either in grade 7 or in grade 6 and are ready to get into high school. So
Mm.
it's a major transition. And if you want your child to have a smooth transition, then you actually need to prepare them for that transition. And if you, as a parent, also want to have a smooth transition, it's important to to prepare so that you are a proactive person and not a reactive person. More often than not, people want to wait for things to happen and then they respond and then they react. And normally the reactions aren't good. So being proactive is actually happening to things rather than letting things happen to you. So you're not being controlled by circumstances, but you're actually controlling the circumstances by thinking ahead, by thinking in advance. So I'll talk about the kind of transition that you need to prepare for as a parent. And then I'll also talk about how you need to prepare your child for that transition. So, one thing you're
Also,
going.
the transition is not a crash program.
Yeah, it's not a crash program.
So okay, it's fine, Coach
So you
Tafadzwa.
take it slowly, and then yeah, it's easier and it's fun for both you as the
Mm.
parent and also as the child. So what you're going to realize, and I need you to think about this if you're a parent, from around 0 to 12, that's the time where you have the potential to influence your child the most because they're still at an age where they're very eager to make you proud and you're their hero. They listen to you, they listen to your instructions. But then, as they transition into high school, which coincides with teenage, they're now beginning to assert themselves, assert their independence, and they no longer think the way you do. They no longer think you are cool. So, you now need to move from managing everything for your child to actually mentoring them from the sidelines. You're either going to do that voluntarily or you're going to be forced by circumstances. I don't know if you've had this instances from parents where they're trying to micromanage their teenager and then they get to a point there's a lot of arguments about all right, ndakukusiya chita zvinhu zvako wega. So now you are forced to actually leave them to do their own thing. You're forced to guide them from a distance. But this is something that you can do on your own voluntarily because you know that that time is coming. And rather than wait for the too many arguments, you can actually just say, start helping them to understand that a time is coming. I'm going to be letting you do stuff for you on your own. But before that time comes, make sure that when you still have the opportunity, you've taught them everything that they need to learn. Because ukazoda kutry kuticha, childhood in phases. There is a time yekuti kudzidzisa mwana kuita port train a 5-year-old. You're too late. There was a time for it where you needed to. And then Kanani 5, you have to move on to other things. So before they are a teenager, before they move to high school, there are things that you must have taught them. And it's important for you as a parent to start letting go of that little kid mentality where you're thinking, my child is still a little kid. I need to do everything for them. I need to make sure that I wake them up in the morning.
Oh, I see. Okay.
All
Oh,
of that,
in
yeah.
that way. Oh, makes sense actually.
So,
Yeah.
so what you're doing is you're actually teaching them now, actually grade 6, actually grade 7, so that when they finally go away from home, maybe they're going to a boarding school, you're no longer too worried about them. And then speaking about being worried, it's also important to always put your own fears in check because sometimes parents get anxious about just high school. Mwana wangu ashamanager ere. I don't think they'll be able to. I don't think my child is confident enough. Will they be assertive to say no to the things that they do not want? Won't they be bullied? So, and in the process, parents voice out those fears and concerns and project them on the child. So in voicing them, you're thinking is going to help the child, but what you do not realize is you're actually destroying the child's confidence, because that voice from you is going to be internalized, and they'll think, I don't think I'll be capable. I don't think I'll be able to manage my own affairs at home. I think I'll be bullied. And then come to high school, they may actually get bullied because you projected your fears on them. They took the fears, and then they couldn't develop confidence within them. Then the next thing that you need to work on is your communication with your child. You need to ensure that there's open communication, and you need to give them opportunities for them to say out their truth without you judging them. Because if you don't do that right now whilst they're still in primary school, no high school the whole term, and then they come back from school and you're asking them how school was, and they summarize it all in one word. You can imagine a whole 3 month new experience summarized in one word. So it's important that pagarapane relationship, if you then want to know deep stuff when they're a teenager, it's now easy because the relationship was already there. You had already opened lines of communication. And then it's important to also partner with other parents of teenagers, of people who are already in high school, so that you learn from them some of the experiences. You know, I feel like sometimes instead of partnering, parents want to compare. Have you ever had parents discussing, and then maybe a parent is saying, mwana wangu ari form 2 ari kunetsa ari kudai so, and then the other mother will be like, manje wangu ari grade 6 anotogona zvese akutodai. What you don't realize is they're still in grade 6. They're still at a level where they want to make you proud as a parent. That same grade 6 who is seemingly so responsible might surprise you form 1, and things have changed. That grade 6 would promise you that I'll only start thinking about boys after I am done with my degree or my master's or my PhD. You'll be surprised. Just next year when they're in Form 1, already cut one into my messages, I love you, whatever. They're already dating. So rather than compare, you actually partner with them and learn, good, how are you managing it with high school? What are the changes you experienced, and what can I do? What can I learn from your own experiences? So it's important to partner with those parents. So I've talked about how you can prepare yourself as a parent. Let's talk about what you can do for the child. You know, there's something that's interesting, and I think you mentioned something related to that. If you have a hammer, as the saying goes, everything looks like a nail to you. So for most parents, especially moms, because they know how to talk, they know how to popota, they think everything has to be sorted out by kutaura, by kugarisa mwana pasi, but that's not the solution to everything. There are things you can actually do to the child that will empower them without necessarily having to scout them, having to shout at them, or even sit them down. So for example, you need by now to know what kind of a school you're going to be sending your child to. So maybe they were at a cozy, small, little private school where they are 10 in class or 15 in class, and you're moving them to a whole bigger community. So now you actually need to start putting them in environments where their social skills are built, maybe sending them to play centers, maybe sending them to workshops or to other places. So you are not even sitting them down, but you are just taking them to places where they learn a skill that you feel they may be deficient in and they need in high school. Maybe they're coming from a school where they had not learned the basics of IT, maybe ICDL, those basics, and you know you're taking them to a school where almost everyone who's going to that school already has that background. So you can take them somewhere separately where they can learn, so that when they are in high school, they will not need to play catch up. They already have that basic level. And also, still on that, I talked about how it's important to determine the kind of school you're going to send your child to. It may not be specific name, but at least have an idea. These are the kind of schools that I want to take my child to. I know the excuse is always, but what I want to tell parents out there is, for every school, for every amount, there are options. So whatever amount you're willing to part with to send your child to high school, there are options, and you can look into the options. And when you now know the options and you know the school that you're going to send your child to, it's important, if possible, to even visit the school or to try and talk to parents with children at that school, so that you know what the expectations are, and you prepare your child also for what to expect when they go to that school. If you don't do that now, later on you're going to be affected by peer pressure. I know parents vanoendesa mwana kuchikoro because ndokune kuri kuendesa shamwari yavo or ndokakaenda mwana waanti wavo or wherever, and that's all the decision. I mean that's all the basis of the decision that they made kuti azoenda kuchikoro ikoko. So it's important that you actually have your own assessment and you look at your own child, their needs. Is this the right environment for them? I was talking about how you need to understand, Kuti, when your child is now growing into teenagehood, your influence yakuita ichive diminished, especially if they're going to be a boarder. And after this whole teenage experience, atoenda university, maybe never to come back under your roof again. So you need to make sure Kuti, in this period, wakutoshandisa the little time that's left to ensure that you've instilled the values that you want in your child. And then the other thing here that's important is to boost your child's life skills and not just the grades. So this is basically what I was talking about. The importance of teaching your child how to organize their schoolwork, money management, picking their bag, speaking up for themselves. Don't do everything for your child. You know, I would always have these conversations with my sister. So she likes talking a lot. She likes like shouting at the kids. And I'm like, no, just leave them. Let them chill. Let them get detention at school. And that's how they learn. Because if you keep speaking, they know you are there. You are there. Let them actually suffer the consequences. And then that's how they will learn. Next time, they'll be like, I remember this one time. So I was the one taking the kids to school. So there's 3 of them. So they're delaying, and I'm there. I'm sitting in the car. They're delaying, and I never said a word. Then they come into the car. I deliberately started with the one, na 8. So I went, I dropped them. And I'm driving slowly. I went and then I dropped the other 2. and they were all like very late. Everyone was quiet in the car and I'm not saying anything. You know, that was the only day. Each time I'm the one taking them to school, they know they have to be on time.
They have to be early.
Yeah, they have to be early. And I didn't even say anything. I didn't say a word.
You didn't say
I didn't say a word.
Taking my time.
Yeah.
Won't be rushed.
Just like you were taking your time. So now it's my turn. Yeah.
That's so funny.
So it's some of what you actually now need to do.
So it's not every time that you have to raise your voice.
Yeah, because they will get used to it. They are now conditioned. They know, okay, this is what mom does. Kanava pizza anyway. So at the end of the day, it's not even meaningful. But you know, there are people, they don't talk a lot, but the day when they talk, you know it's serious, and you really like take it to heart. So that's the point that you should get to. And then the last point, and then I'll go back to parents. So this is not about what you need to do to the child, but then for you, I think it's important to start saving for high school. Just putting money aside and saying, okay, this is my commitment to the school that they're going to get to. And I know when it comes to saving money and all that, we always have good excuses. How can I even think about next year and all? But I think giving yourself time to save money, maybe it's a sign that the school that you want to send your child to, you cannot afford. Maybe you need to lower your standards a little bit so that you come within your budget. Because one thing you do not want is kuti mwana atange form 1 anonoke kutanga pane vamwe. Because this is a new environment already, and already they are anxious about being in a new environment. So if they're going to be late, or if they're not going to be having everything that is needed, and they feel like they're so behind, and then they're not like every one of their friends, that can take a toll on their confidence, and they may not recover anytime soon. So their whole maybe Form 1 and Form 2, their confidence is already dented. Their confidence has already fallen, and they may not be able to pick themselves up. So these are some of the things that you need to consider. And I deliberately brought this topic now because we are in May, and we still have a bit of time to go, about 6 months plus, to think about this, to make decisions. And when it comes to sending your child, determining kuti oenda form 1 ari grade 6 ere or ari grade 7, it's important to look at your child as a unique individual, not just saying kuti ndozviri kuita vamwe vese, let me rush my child to form 1 or let me take them to grade 7 asaende form 1. Try and look at your child. Do you think they will be able to manage? Do you think they are developed socially enough to be able to manage the pressures of being in a high school environment where almost everyone is older than them? Yeah.
Wow. Coach Tafadzwa, thank you so much. Such an insightful conversation, high school transition, right? For those who want to get in touch with you, Coach.
So my WhatsApp number is 0773 606 728. 0773 606 728.
Coach Tafadzwa, thank you so much. We're also live on Facebook. You can share this with a parent. If you're just catching up and you missed the greater part of the show, you can also look it up on our Facebook page, tinzim.com, right here on the Morning Galaxy on Star FM. Taking our time to 11 o'clock, Star FM. It's time for the news.
This is Zim Paper's Radio Broadcasting News.
Good morning, I'm Tobeki Lisbanda.